There's a multiplayer game that people can't seem to stop talking about recently. Even if you aren't a fan of the genre or don't play many online multiplayer games, chances are this game has taken over your homepage, your timeline. You probably can't get away from it. It seems like everyone has something to say about it because it's an example of a number of trends that have been going on for quite a while in video game development. The game I'm referring to, of course, is Highguard. Highguard is a 3v3 PvP shooter with base building and defense elements, taking inspiration from the likes of Valorant, Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, and, Elden Ring. It released on January 26th this year to middling reviews with complaints about its performance, gameplay, and visual design, and lost 90% of its PC player base overnight. It was troubled from the get-go by a questionable choice to announce it at the very end of the Game Awards and release it only a month later with no marketing or communication from the developers in between. Highguard is another example of a studio trying to capitalize on the live service model of game development, a dragon the industry has been chasing ever since Oblivion Horse Armor was just a glimmer in Todd Howard's eye. But the thing about multiplayer live service games is that they are very, very hard to make. This is mostly due to the fact that everyone interested in a Fortnite or a PUBG or a Destiny 2 already has Fortnite and PUBG and Destiny 2, games they have already sunk hundreds if not thousands of hours into. A new game means starting over from scratch, leaving a game that feels like home for something new that might not hit as hard. So how is it then that with all of these barriers in place and so many examples of failure, there is a new multiplayer game on the horizon that not only seems to be dodging all of the usual pitfalls, but successfully positioning itself to be the next big thing? Enter Deadlock, the real subject of this video, a multiplayer competitive shooter thing by Valve, makers of Counter-Strike, Dota 2, Half-Life. They really don't need an introduction. Deadlock is a very strange game, but in spite of, or maybe because of its steep learning curve and unique design, it is thriving. With the recent release of its Old Gods New Blood patch that brought new characters, visual flair, and quality of life improvements to the game, Deadlock has hit a concurrent player count of 100,000 players on Steam this week, surpassing what Highguard had on its official launch day. This is particularly noteworthy because Deadlock is still in alpha. There has been no marketing for this game, no official announcement from Valve. You still need an invite to download the game and start playing, but my homepage on YouTube lately has been flooded with videos, guides, and commentary about this game. So why exactly is Deadlock succeeding where so many other new multiplayer games have failed? I think it's due to a few different reasons that I'll put up on the screen here, and I want to go piece by piece through this to give you an idea of why I think 2026 is going to be the year of Deadlock. A point about Deadlock that cannot be emphasized enough is that it's being developed by Valve. Valve has a reputation for letting their own projects simmer, being completely willing to abandon games if they feel the timing isn't right, or to sit on new ideas until they feel like current-day tech has caught up with their ambitions. They also own Steam, which has an almost complete monopoly on PC game distribution. And hey, say what you want about monopolies, I sure do. But the fact is, Valve basically has an infinite money glitch. If Deadlock failed tomorrow and lost 100% of its player base and was removed completely from Steam, Valve would be fine. They can afford to take risks and take their time until something is really thoroughly cooked to perfection. That is a luxury, one that a lot of studios don't have. Valve is privately owned. They do not answer to shareholders. The only deadlines they face are self-imposed. For a small studio like Wildlight, who developed Highguard, they can't afford to develop a game in this same way. So while I in no way think monopolies are good, and it saddens me that small devs can be priced out of the market this way, Valve is in a position to be patient and take their time with Deadlock, in a way that many other studios just couldn't. And I think that's one reason why the game feels so exciting to me. It is a true passion project that will release when it's good and ready and not a moment earlier. The first thing you'll probably notice when you load into Deadlock is that this game is big. There are 38 characters at the time of this video, with more on the way, and each one has a unique kit that can make it competitive in a match. There are a wealth of items and builds. You can copy and use other players' builds and upload your own builds to a central hub and share them. There is frankly an overwhelming amount of stuff to take in when you first start, but I think that actually works in the game's favor. People who play multiplayer competitive games want something to sink their teeth into. There's an appeal to knowing it's going to take a long time to wrap your mind around all of the ins and outs of a game, and that leads to a feeling of progression. You can see in these clips I'm kind of getting my ass kicked, but every time I load into a match, I can feel the neurons activating when I learn just a little bit more about the game and the characters each time. One of the biggest complaints about Highguard when it launched was that it seemed empty. People played a few matches and then were hit with a wave of, that's it? Arc Raiders, an undoubtedly successful game and one of the true breakout hits of last year, has also been facing some of these complaints from its player base as well, with people saying that there's not much to speak of in the way of an end game for skilled players. Deadlock gives you the complete opposite feeling. You are drinking from a fire hose, but there is the promise that if you put in the time, you can master these systems. There are layers to this game. It has real depth. Deadlock is an evolution of the MOBA genre, a genre known for its complexity and dedicated player base. Fans of the genre spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours mastering builds, movement, combat, farming, skill economy, tactics, you name it. But the two most prominent examples of this genre, Dota 2 and League of Legends, are 2D. They're top-down action games at their core. The character models and the map might be rendered in 3D, but at the end of the day, you are only moving on an X and a Y axis. Deadlock takes the MOBA DNA, it has lanes and creeps and farming and towers just like Dota and League, but it adds literally a brand new dimension to it. Navigating in 3D space makes the battles feel all the more frantic and really raises the skill ceiling. There's a bit of Guns the Duel in Deadlock, an old multiplayer game renowned for its insanely complex movement tech. Look at this footage right here. This is not me. I am watching a person who actually knows what they're doing, and compare the way that they are moving to the footage I just showed you of me in a match. I only have a few hours in this game, and I can already tell I have so much to learn. Combining hero shooters, movement tech shooters, and MOBAs sounds like it wouldn't work at all, but Deadlock somehow manages to pull it off thanks to its long development time and consistent player feedback, allowing the devs to craft something that feels truly fresh. There is nothing else quite like Deadlock, and the same can't be said for a lot of startup multiplayer games that feel like they're all copying each other's homework. Over the course of its development, Deadlock has settled into an aesthetic that feels distinct from other games. The slightly cartoony art direction lends it some of that pop and color that you see in games like Marvel Rivals, but it goes beyond that. Deadlock has a vibe. It's cool. I don't know how else to describe it. The character designs are high quality, the voice acting is superb, the weird little occult touches feel fun and inspired without being corny or edgy. So many heroes in the roster feel like they could be the star of their own games. They're all super charismatic and expressive. They have that special Valve charm that they've refined over decades of character design. Where a lot of new multiplayer games feel bland or derivative, Deadlock is blazing its own trail in terms of visuals and aesthetic, and it's just as fun to watch as it is to play. The fact that it's still in alpha, and technically a closed alpha at that, I think lends it a feeling of exclusivity as well. When you play Deadlock, even if there's 100,000 other people playing it, it feels like you're getting in on a secret. Like you're getting to play the next big thing before everybody else. Not only that, you're getting to shape how the game will look in the future too, and that's a fun feeling. Each time they release a new batch of characters, the players get to vote on which ones come out first, leading to a rush of hype and activity and anticipation, and it really does build a sense of community among the players. Releasing a successful multiplayer game is hard, but every time I play Deadlock, I get the feeling that I'm witnessing the early stages of something that is absolutely going to blow up when it's ready. There is no release date as of yet, no announcement of an open beta test, but I can feel it in the air. My guess is this game is only going to get bigger as the year progresses. I want people to play this game. I want people to play it so much that I am willing to send an invite to whoever DMs me and asks me for one. My Bluesky link is down in the description. Seriously, just hit me up and I will get you in. Thanks for watching.